The sun has obediently completed its daily trek across the sky. The day is winding down, and the shadows stretch longer with every passing minute. We've explored three remarkable gardens, and now one last treasure awaits. To call it a privilege to peek inside these private sanctuaries would be an understatement. I arrive expecting another modernist retreat, but I'm in for a surprise. Before me stands a 1930s Spanish revival home, or rather a retreat. This is Bohemian Rhapsody, and trust me, the name will soon make perfect sense. The design path behind this garden is an intriguing journey through continents and centuries. Let's gallop quickly, very quickly, through history. The home is quintessential Spanish revival. Before Palm Springs became synonymous with mid-century modernism, this was the dominant style from the early 1900s until post-World War II. Back then, Hollywood's elite, Greta Garbo, Clark Gable, Charlie Chaplin, flocked here drawn to its reputation for leisure and relaxation. Today, Palm Springs is a rare blend of both architectural styles, happily coexisting. For a garden designer, history is impossible to ignore. Mexico's influence looms large, with one name leaping from pages, Frida Kahlo. Her iconic Casa Azul in Mexico City continues to inspire designers worldwide. And alongside her, we find Luis Barragán, a master of architecture and color, whose work influenced the very architects who would shape Palm Springs' distinctive aesthetic. This garden's designer, Laura Morton, described it best. Frida Kahlo has a love child with Luis Barragán, and indeed, this garden is a fiesta of color. But the story doesn't end there. Spanish revival homes trace their lineage back to Andalusian farmhouses of Iberian Peninsula, themselves shaped by Moorish and Persian influences. Early Islamic gardens were created as desert sanctuaries, where water was central for irrigation, cooling, and symbolism. These vibrant hues found their way across the Mediterranean. Think Majorelle Garden in Marrakesh, or even the turquoise and cobalt blues of Mughal and Persian architecture. Pardon my long-winded introduction. Clearly, I have Babylonian roots, as I tend to babble on and on. But now, as we step inside, I promise it will all make sense. The Mediterranean inspiration, the wrought iron details, the vibrant colors, and the lush plantings. It's all here. We begin at the casita and its patio, a warm, inviting space, reminiscent of a cozy Mexican village. The designer, Laura Morton, called this property Casa Madrina, a fitting name for its welcoming embrace. Colors that shouldn't work together, earthy reds, bougainvillea pink, rich violets, are somehow in perfect harmony, a clear nod to Frida's Casa Azul. Attention to detail is everywhere, from intricate mosaic work to the carefully curated textiles. A dreamy Asian-inspired daybed invites you to lose yourself in a book or succumb to an afternoon siesta. The garden's soothing soundtrack, a bubbling fountain, accompanied by the rustling of oranges and date palms. It's handcrafted Mexican tiles, placed firmly in this setting. Yet one could just as easily picture it in a Moroccan riad. And rightly so. Mediterranean garden design is a rich, interwoven tapestry of cultures and influences. In a desert landscape, water is a luxury. Its mere presence, a statement of design intent. Though I didn't visit this garden at night, I can imagine the spellbinding patterns of Moroccan lanterns casting intricate, flickering shadows across the walls and foliage. This dance of light and shadows adds mystery and depth, enhancing the already dreamlike quality of the space. Combine this with the gentle murmur of water, and you have an irresistible retreat, perfect for the quiet reflection or intimate gathering under the starlit sky. This garden masterfully guides you from room to room, shifting the mood effortlessly, yet maintaining an unmistakable sense of unity. And here, the North African influence fully reveals itself. A large, oversized seating area wraps around the fire pit, inviting guests to linger. At either end, day beds practically demand you stretch out and savor this little paradise. A word, by the way, that comes from Persian paradisa, meaning walled garden. Under the olive and orange canopy, the evening sets in. Wine, good company, firelight, and a cool desert breeze. The mountains align perfectly with the garden, offering an uninterrupted view of the sun setting. A natural spectacle seen from the cozy seating area. It doesn't get much better than this. Inflatable swans float in the pool, a delightful, playful touch. This area is prime for entertaining, with long dining table shaded by palms. Everywhere, clever light-hearted elements abound. All palm trunks repurposed as seating, sharp agave framing the space, and vintage shell chairs adding texture. And then, a vintage trailer. A spare bedroom? A bar? A changing room? Who knows? The designer has left it to our imagination. Nearby, two hammocks sway gently, shaded by a sail overhead. A perfect bohemian touch. The entry courtyard is as inviting as the rest. Terracotta tiles, turquoise stucco walls, and timber pergola, all radiating warmth. Aged furniture, antique lanterns, vintage bird cages, and forged metal details soften the space. Mexican motif fabrics bring coziness. The designer not only left a full list of plants in the garden, but a full set of drawings for the visitors to explore. Thoughtful design is evident. The ground crunches underfoot, serving as permeable surface for the rain runoff. A retaining wall, seemingly made out of reclaimed local materials, shields the garden from the street. Tall palm tree trunks used as pillars stand sculptural with a bohemian twist. Who said gardens lack a sense of humor? Out of sight, out of mind, the parking area is discreetly hidden, ensuring the garden remains the star. Bougainvillea, in an explosion of electric pink, climbs the wrought iron detailing atop the stucco walls, perfectly contrasted by the soft-filtered shade of palms. Outside, a mix of native and desert-adapted plants creates an informal yet striking scene. Washingtonia palms anchor the space, while Palo Verde offers filtered glimpses of the inner oasis. Agave, cacti, grasses, and pollinator-friendly shrubs add texture and vibrancy. As I take one last lingering glance, I realize this is a garden you never want to leave. My batteries are drained, my memory cards are full, a long yet extraordinary day. This garden leaves me with a grin. It radiates cheerfulness, playfulness, and joy. The sun slips behind the mountains, and the evening sunset spectacle begins. Thank you for joining me on this open garden day in Palm Springs, California. I hope you've enjoyed these 4 extraordinary gardens. And though today comes to a close, tomorrow I'll take you to one of the greatest garden in Palm Springs. See you next week.